Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Opening night for the Grand Rapids Griffins is October 11th. Grab your new shiny jersey, grab your $2 beer, and get yourself down to the freezer on Fulton to watch the Grand Rapids Griffins take on the Milwaukee Admirals in a revenge game to kick off the 2024-2025 season. I am your host, Connor Acker.
And I am your co-host, Kyle Acker. Many of Detroit's top prospects that led us into the Calder Cup playoffs last year return to continue where they left off and chase another playoff run.
So welcome to Season 2 of the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by GameTime and DraftKings. So you've probably been on your social medias, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Reddit, and you see this Griffins Pipeline podcast, and you're like, who the heck is this, and why the heck are they covering the Griffins? So to start off, we're not experts by any means. We're pretty much hardcore fans, so we don't claim to be experts, and we're not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins either. We just do this for the fans. We're a podcast by the fans, for the fans. But the reason we started doing this podcast is because we got our season tickets and we started going to the games after the COVID season. It seemed like the house was just empty. It was a big snooze fest every game. The Grand Rapids Griffins were the worst team in the league. They didn't make the playoffs. It was just real disappointment. And I was always a big podcast guy, and I always listened to like Red Wings podcasts and football podcasts, any sports podcasts, and I was real disappointed to see that there really wasn't any Griffins podcasts. There was an official podcast that had Bob Kaiser in it, which was really interesting to listen to, but he discontinued it after COVID, it looked like, and there was nothing on that for months. And then there's the Griffins Nest, and they kind of had a couple episodes here and there, but my thirst wasn't quite satisfied. And we pretty much just had the idea one day, like, why not start a Griffins podcast for fun? We started doing it for the Octocast. They were a Red Wings podcast. Me and Kyle would do an update for them. And then last year we decided to go on our own and actually try to go for a Griffins podcast, and we ended up signing on to the Hockey Podcast Network, and now they make it so we can continue doing it and continue talking hockey. And the reason we do this is to pretty much build a community. We just want to help the Grand Rapids Griffins grow. Like, we're sick of seeing the Grand Rapids Griffins not be as big as they used to be. Like, we just want to spread as much about the Griffins and give any chance for home field advantage, help create a electric atmosphere.
When I was a kid and we were going down there, we went down for all sorts of different events. Sat in everything from the nosebleeds to down right at ice level, and just all the different, perspectives of the game, and seeing professional hockey right in Grand Rapids. It's really been part of my life, and watching players like Darren Helm and Justin Abdelkader and Jimmy Howard graduate to the Red Wings and become part of the system that just was strong for so long, winning the Stanley Cup. And yeah, the Griffins started in 1996. I was also born in 1996, so it just forever be a part of me. The Griffins will be.
Yeah, and we also really like to give away free tickets to people out of our pocket. We like to give away some of the giveaways they give out. We just like to do anything we can to get anyone involved with the Griffins, or people who can't make it to a game to get a chance to go to a game, or get a signed player thing, like anything we can do to help spread the Grand Rapids Griffins and make them a bigger part, because a lot of these Red Wings fans just don't necessarily understand what it's like to be a Grand Rapids Griffin, or what the pipeline really means. Like everyone thinks it's kind of like football almost. You know what I mean? They think the first round draft pick comes in and goes right to the team. But, a lot of these players are from Sweden, and they have to come across the oceans, and then they have to develop to a different sized ice. And it's a huge, 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 transition. And, if you try to make that transition and, the NHL talent with dudes like Connor McDavid, it just makes kids busts really fast. It's a really fast-paced sport, and you kind of need that couple years, or at least year. First-round picks should at least go in the AHL for a year or so.
Yeah, and
AHL.
the other thing too is you're looking at the age and the size of these players that are coming into the league now that are getting drafted from across seas, and they're not all huge players. Some of them are, and the chances of them getting just their confidence crushed on the short ice of the NHL and the bigger, faster, stronger players, they will show you how the league, they will introduce you very fast, and you will find out. But starting in the AHL for some of these players just makes it a more navigatable path to the NHL so they can be there for longer in their careers.
And you can take Simon Edvinsson as a really good example. Even dudes like Michael Rasmussen, he sat here in Grand Rapids for a minute. He was a first-round pick, and everyone thought he was a bust, but he's a huge component to the Red Wings now. You're gonna have a bunch of these dudes coming up, and I've noticed every year everyone thinks that the next first-round pick's gonna just jump the last three. I've heard it from Edvinsson to Casper. Casper's gonna just be right on the Red Wings, and then I heard Danielson's gonna jump Casper and be right on the Red Wings. But if you watch Casper last year, he really struggled early in the AHL. By the end of the year, he was really showing to the level of his draft stock, really excelling to the point where we knew that he's probably going to the Red Wings this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he went from third line center in Grand Rapids to start the season to finding his way in the playoffs at basically first line center as many minutes as he could get and becoming one of the top contributors for the team. And now, you're looking at this year, he is going to be fighting for that time in Detroit, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they set him down to Grand Rapids to start, and then I feel like the first time anything happens, he will be your first call up. And then if playoff comes around, Marco Casper loaned back down to us.
Yeah, and then, brings the topic of Danielson too. He came over, he got some games at the end of the year in the AHL, and he didn't look bad by any means. He didn't look out of place, but it takes a moment to find your game. And
yeah, he didn't look like the Nate Danielson from the Winterhawks that was destroying it.
Right.
He came over and, we inserted him into the lineup for a playoff game, and he definitely wasn't ready. So we ended up benching him for the rest of that series.
So this year, we're really looking to get that kind of contribution we got out of Casper, where maybe he didn't start on the first line or anything, but maybe by the end of the season, we're looking for Danielson to finish as a top line player or top six player at least.
Yeah, and I do feel like Danielson's learning pretty quick too. I feel like he's trying to compete right there with Casper. Everyone said Danielson was going to jump Casper this year. But I think it's apparent that the experience for Casper in the AHL has definitely helped him. And I think it would be very beneficial for Danielson to get that. And Michael Branson Nygaard, same thing. Everyone says that he's going to jump everyone. But he's actually he got sent back to Sweden to play with Axel Sandin Pellikka and Skelta. Right?
Which is a great thing. Let's just be real.
Yeah, that's probably the best bet. You got 2 first-round picks there, and those guys will probably also come near the end of the season.
Yeah,
and
because he looked ready to go. He was playing in preseason, and he looked ready to go with the rest of the squad. And a lot of people would not be shocked if he did start here in Grand Rapids. But for the the best of the system in the pipeline is he goes over and gets that chemistry built with Pelican now.
So yeah, let's get. We kind of got a little off track there, but talking about the AHL and just the recent events. But so how about that new jersey, man? That new Griffins jersey.
I'm wearing it right now. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the Griffins to come out shiny, flashy gold, and I hope the fans of Grand Rapids like it as well. I think the general consensus it's literally just gold versus silver. I mean, gold kind of wins.
Yeah. I mean, my first thought, I was like, oh, I kind of like the old one. But after I looked at it and I actually got the jersey, the gold just shines. I held my two black jerseys next to each other. I went over, I had to get a black one because I ruin my white jerseys all the time, spilling beer and stuff on them. But yeah, so the gold definitely is a superior by far jersey. Like holding them next to each other, the silver almost looks like a gray. It's just kind of dull, you know. This gold is where it's at. I'm glad they made the change. I love it.
Yeah, and I got the white one, and I'm gonna be trying not to spill beer on it because it's the only white Griffins jersey I have. So this one is a little specialer to me.
So the Grand Rapids Griffins are going to be on Flow TV this year. And that's really cool because that's where the Toledo Walleye are also. So in previous years, you used to have to pay for a subscription for AHL TV, and you'd have to pay a subscription for Flow TV. Now you got them both in one place.
Yeah, some fans, like the fans that aren't season ticket members that don't get like the Flow TV subscription, are kind of upset because they used to just do the away games in like the smallest deal package they could get, and that's not really an option anymore, it sounds like. So people are complaining that they have to pay for like a full price option, but like you said, you get a lot more options. It's going to be a better stream. But generally, a lot of people are saying it's AHL TV on Flow TV. There's no real difference as they were part of the same umbrella before, but now they are fully under Flow TV.
But yeah, that's cool to be able to get the walleye more because I only got to watch the walleye in the playoffs last year because I wasn't going to pay another subscription for something. So I feel like the Grand Rapids Griffins have picked a little bit better of a schedule this year. I feel like we get to play against some teams like Lehigh Valley Phantoms that I've always wanted to play. So that'll be cool. We play the Thunderbirds again, play the Colorado Eagles. So it's nice. And then we play the Rockford Ice Hogs 12 times again. If you didn't hate them before, you're going to hate them more. So yeah, the Rockford Ice Hogs literally are going to be our main competitor probably for the division this year. They got a lot of stuff going on for them. So that 12 games are going to be very important, actually. Yeah, it'll be a fun season. So for promotions, I feel like we got a great lineup for promotions. Personally, I like the player bobbleheads and the giveaway jerseys. I'd like to see a little bit more of those. But yeah, so every Friday for the Grand Rapids Griffins is $2 beers and $2 hot dogs. Every Wednesday game is a winning Wednesday, except for the last Wednesday of the season. And then every Sunday is $1 ice cream and $1 soda. And then there's post autographs. There's specialty jerseys that you can post game auction, and then there's some post game skates. There's a great winter skate event in the middle of the winter where there's one player on the ice for an hour, a couple players, and you get to skate with them. So that's really cool stuff.
As long as there's ice, of course.
Yeah, as long as there is ice. Yeah, let's like get into the schedule a little bit. So October, we got 8 total games in October. So there's going to be 3 home games and 2 games this month will be a 2-game home series versus the Manitoba Moose. We'll have a 4-game road trip to end the month, which involves a 2-game series against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms and a game against the Springfield Thunderbirds and the Hartford Wolfpack. That'll be a fun October. The promotions in that month are on Friday, October 11th, versus the Milwaukee Admirals. It'll be the opening night. There'll be a magnet giveaway, $2 beer, $2 dogs, and there'll be a post-game skate. And then on Friday, October 18th, versus the Manitoba Moose, it'll be a $2 beer, $2 dogs, with post-game player autographs. And then Saturday, October 19th, versus the Manitoba Moose will be a calendar giveaway. So that's for October.
Yeah, it's fun to get out of the division and play teams like Lehigh Valley and Hartford Wolfpack in Springfield. We just don't get to see them very much.
Yeah, definitely not, man. I really like Lehigh Valley Phantoms colors, the purple and the orange. It's really cool. So for November, there's 11 games, 6 home games. So there's a home and home with Rockford. There's a 2-game home series versus Iowa. You play some of the other rivals like the Wolves and the Iowa Wild. The promotions for that month are on Friday, November 1st, versus the Ice Hogs is a $2 beer, $2 dogs. On Wednesday, November 13th, versus the Ice Hogs, which is the 23rd school day game, which is an 11:30 a.m. game, which plays as a winning Wednesday because it is also on Wednesday. So Friday, November 15th, the Chicago Wolves, they gave away a camo hoodie with a $2 beer, $2 dog night. Friday, November 22nd, the Iowa Wild is a $2 dogs. And Sunday, November 24th, is the dog game and a Brad Dog Chia Pet. So you can get your Brad Dog Thompson equipment manager Chia Pet. What do you think of that one, Kyle?
Oh, that's great, man. We love Brad Dog Thompson here in Grand Rapids. The fact that they made a Chia Pet for his beard, that's even better. Yeah, 2 Sunday games in November as well. Sunday, November 3rd, you got a 6:30 start, and then Sunday, November 24th, you got a 4 p.m. start.
Yeah, and I noticed we also play 3 11 a.m. games. We play one in Iowa and one in Manitoba, too.
Oh, school days for them?
Yeah, I think school days for them, which is cool.
For sure, get the kids involved.
For December is the heftiest month of the season with the most games on the slate. You got 12 games, but only 5 home games. So there's a 6-game road trip in the middle of the month. So that'll be a really big challenge for these Grand Rapids Griffins. They'll have a 2-game away series versus the Wolves, the Colorado Eagles, and the Texas Stars. So it's like a big, long road trip. It'll be wild. But yeah, so for the promotions in December, you got the Sunday, December 1st versus the Cleveland Monsters, which is your Sebastian Cosa bobblehead. You're not going to want to miss that one. So Friday, December 6th versus the Chicago Wolves, you got the Red Kettle game. And then Friday, December 20th versus the Milwaukee Admirals, you got $2 beer, $2 dogs. Sunday, December 2nd, you got the Griffins Gridiron, which is $1 soda, $1 ice cream, and that's like pretty much a Lions jersey. But
yeah, Lions. That's going to be interesting with all the Lions gear showing up to the Griffins.
Don't be shocked if you hear some Jared Goff chants on that one. Yep, and then Tuesday, December 31st, you got the New Year's Eve fireworks. And yeah, it'll be a fun December.
Yeah, so 3 Sundays in December. December 1st is 4 p.m. December 8th is 3 p.m. And December 22nd is also 4 p.m. But then you also have that Tuesday game on New Year's Eve at 6 p.m.
So January, you got 11 games, 7 home games. which is the most month for home games for the Griffins. So the most packed month for us fans here. So you got a 4 games versus the Manitoba Moose this month. So it's the month of the Moose, January. It starts on the road for 2 games. Then you got a 2-game home series versus Manitoba Moose, and then you got the big return of the winning Wednesdays, pretty much. I mean, I know the school game was a winning Wednesday, but not a lot of people are going to that one because they got work.
Right.
It's mostly for the kids.
I'll be listening on the radio at work, most likely.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'll be doing too. Got a 2-game home series versus Cleveland Monsters, and yeah, it's a fun one. You got $2 beer, $2 dogs Friday, January 10th. You got Saturday, January 11th versus the Manitoba Moose. You got the DC Superheroes, a Batman bobblehead giveaway, and post-game autographs. So make it to that one. Wednesday, January 15th versus Chicago Wolves is the winning Wednesday. Friday, January 17th and 18th versus the Cleveland Monsters. You got the Fridays, the $2 beer, $2 dogs, and then the Saturday is a Jurassic Park night.
Don't miss that one.
They're giving away like the toasters last year. They're giving away the Jurassic Park Dino jersey, which is one of the coolest jerseys I think the Griffins have ever done.
It's got a skull griffin dinosaur in the middle.
Instead of the T-Rex. Yeah, it's awesome, man. So yeah, then you got Wednesday, January 29 versus the Ice Hogs, which is another winning Wednesday. And then you got Friday 31 versus the Colorado Eagles, which is a crossover month. It's a 2-game series against the Eagles, and it crosses over from 31st of January to the 1st of February. And that is $2 beer, $2 dogs.
Yeah, the only weird game in the schedule there is the Thursday in January 23rd.
And then February, you have 11 games and 5 home games. Like I said, you got that crossover with the Eagles. You got a 2-game away series versus the Admirals, a 2-game away series versus the Iowa, a 2-game home series. So the Lee Valley Phantoms come to the van for 2 games, a 2-game away series versus the Stars. So another month with a lot of away series, another 6 games away.
And that 2-game series for Texas comes on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Actually beneficial because less crowd for the Griffins. It'll be easier with less crowd, less home field advantage, hopefully.
For sure.
But yeah, so the promotions for February are Saturday, February 1st versus Colorado Eagles is Princess Night, and that's a post-game autograph. So I know all you guys don't want to go to Princess, but there's autographs. So
hey man, it's a sellout every year.
It is. So Wednesday, February 12th versus the Springfield Thunderbirds. That's a winning Wednesday. Nice to see them play the Thunderbirds. Always a fun team to play. And then another winning Wednesday versus the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. And then they play that following Friday against Lehigh Valley again on February 21st. $2 beer, $2 dogs. And then February 23rd versus the Iowa Wild, which is mental health awareness, sensory friendly. And that's a flying toaster Simon Evanson bobblehead giveaway. Keep in mind, all these giveaways, you have to be there. You got to be the first couple thousand fans, or you don't get them. But yeah, so February will be a fun slate. So we just got March and April. March, the games start winding down a little. They go down to 10 games for March, 6 home games. So you got a 2-game away series versus the Manitoba Moose, one being an 11:30 a.m. game, like I talked about. 3 games versus the Ice Hogs in a row. So let the hate brew. So yeah, so the promotions that month are Saturday, March 1st versus the Iowa Wild, Star Wars night. It's always a banger.
Yeah, you get all your favorite Star Wars characters down right at the van. You can get pictures with them, talk to them. There's the Mandalorian series really brought a lot of character to the van. That was fun.
Yeah, so I personally think they should do a Star Wars jersey. I see that they did a Red Wings Stormtrooper jersey, which is pretty cool. I'd like to see a Griffins Star Wars jersey.
Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader's. So Wednesday, March 12th versus the Hartford Wolfpack is a winning Wednesday. Friday, March 14th versus the Milwaukee Admirals is the purple game. $2 beer, $2 dogs. And the jersey auction afterward. Friday, March 21st versus the Ice Hogs, $2 beer, $2 dogs. Saturday, March 22nd versus the Ice Hogs was Beer City Hockey Night. So that's a hat giveaway and a jersey auction. And then March 26th versus the Stars is a winning Wednesday. That brings us right to the last month of the season. So the month starts out of April with the home and home series versus the Rockford Ice Hogs to have another dance with them. 2-game home series versus the Texas Stars. A 2-game away series versus the Ice Hogs. And then the Grand Rapids Griffins end the season on April 19th in Iowa. And the remaining promotions are April 4th versus the Ice Hogs, $2 beer, $2 dogs. April 11th versus Texas Stars, $2 beer, $2 dogs. And then April 12th versus Texas Stars, which is Fan Appreciation Night. And they usually have a mystery bag thing they do. Can't guarantee it, but they usually do have it. Yeah, that's a full slate of games, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That last month is always, end up back playing in the division, and you got Rockford and Texas, and it's a lot of tough away games there. So hopefully we can stay strong and go into that last month popping
Off, man.
Yeah, really looking for. I think the highlighted out of all of it, I think the Dino Knight jersey and the Coast bobblehead are gonna draw the most. That
The
Simon
toaster,
Edvinson toaster, yeah, and then the Batman's pretty cool too, man.
Yeah, and that with the autographs at the end of that, obviously that's a game I'll be.
That's gonna be a big one, yep. And fan favorites like the Red Kettle game and the Purple Community game. Always just great, bring a lot of attraction. So if you are coming, and like Connor said, if you want some of the giveaways, make sure you get there early, especially if you're not a season ticket member and you want your giveaway and it's not guaranteed. Make sure you get in line early enough because the last couple have gotten pretty deep.
Yeah, you want to get there, like if you're getting there at 20 minutes after the doors open, you're not getting one.
The quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck's dropping on the 24-25 season. Get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. Remember, all lines and odds are subject to change. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Are you ready to watch your team take the ice this season? Have you missed the goals, hits, and fights of hockey happening right in front of you? Don't miss the moments that electrify your hometown arena or silence the competitors on the road. Because with GameTime, you can be part of the action as it happens. GameTime offers tickets to not only sporting events, but many of your favorite events as well, With the Game Time Picks feature, you can filter out what you are interested in and display the events that matter most to you at the best available price. Explore the tiers of deals, as I did when looking for Detroit Red Wings tickets, and find anything from the cheapest price to the best available seats with their super and amazing deals. Game Time's lowest price guarantee and their Game Time ticket coverage make them a reliable choice, backed with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So we don't want to fully get into the roster today, as the Red Wings have until tomorrow at 5:30 to wrap it all up and keep who they want and make their final decisions on who they're taking into opening night. So we don't want to make any bold assumptions on what they will do. I think it's all up in the air, and we'll let Steve Yzerman make that decision. Many players have to go on waivers, and whether other teams claim them is not up to us. So we'll wait and see what happens before we fully cover the roster and go over who we think will be starting for us on opening night. So we're going to go into our predictions for the season, what we think is going to happen overall, and maybe ask each other a couple questions on how we think it's going to go this year.
So, Kyle, who's your player to watch this year, man?
I think my player to watch is Lombardi, of course. Dude has been absolutely off the chain in this preseason and training camp. He's really kind of flexed his ability, showed his experience in the AHL last year for being a whole season. And I was thinking maybe it was just because he was playing with the other prospects in Detroit, but when we got to preseason and he was still making moves and still looked really good, scoring goals, I think Lombardi is going to be putting up a lot of points for the Griffins this year.
I agree too, and him being a center, especially. You know, for me, I'm gonna go with. I mean, I could say the obvious and go like Marco Casper or whatever, but I'm gonna go Elmer Soderbaum because I think that he got to make the team his first year. Being a 6th round or 7th round pick or whatever, late
sixth round pick.
Yeah, being a 6th round pick, making the team, Then he came back last year and he had a great season. He started to really step up, and we had the absence of Jonathan Bergeron for a while. He went up to Detroit, and Elmer Soderblom really stepped up in that moment, and he was like our best guy there for like a couple games until he came down with a sickness that kind of put his season on rest, I'd say. I mean, I'd say he never really fully recovered from that, and I mean, he showed up a couple good times, but you're talking about a dude who started the season doing like behind the skate moves and started out real strong, and I just think he's got a lot of talent there, and he's got the big size. I think he's gonna surprise some people this year.
Yeah, and he had a strong preseason showing for sure. I thought he looked great out there. He's not a big goal scoring guy. I think he's more of a two-way presence. He's pretty solid defensively, which is huge, as like he has that long reach to make some poke checks. Sometimes it even gets him into trouble, but sometimes I think he could look for more trouble and make some more hits and use his body a little physically. And I think we're going to start seeing that this year with him getting a little older and just being more mature, understanding how this game works over in North America.
So who do you think's going to be the leading scorer this year on the Grand Rapids Griffins?
I am kind of looking at that Joe Schneiderlin pickup like it's a great move right now. dude had, I think it was 59 points last season for the Hershey Bears, the team that won the Calder Cup. And we kind of snagged one of their top scorers and brought him over here, bringing that veteran leadership. And I think he's going to fill the role of Zarnik and kind of also take on that goal scoring ability that we lost with Berggren. Granted, he clears waivers.
Yeah, every clears waivers. So I'm going to say Carter Mazer. I'm going to say Carter Mazer steps up, and I feel like there's just not really the spot for him unless some major injuries happen this year, but I do think Yzerman is going to play the game where he calls up Casper, and then he calls up Mazer for a while, and then he calls up Danielson for a while. I think they're all going to get a little bit of time up there. But I think essentially they'll probably all be here for the playoffs, I'm guessing. I mean, especially if Detroit's not competing for a playoff spot, I think it'll make it so they're all eligible to come back down to the playoffs. And that would mean dividing up the time a little more, not having one guy play 70 games or so.
Right. And if someone does play more than that, rightfully so, then they made the decision on, like, if they bring up Casper, he's the only one that's going to take that kind of 70 game role. But yeah, I think they will divide them up like you said. And Mazer is most likely going to be one of the highest contributors on this team regardless. And I think it's got a lot, who gets injured. If somebody gets injured, who's the guy that needs to fill the right role, and Casper and Mazer provide that physical edge, and I think both of them are in contention for a Red Wing spot. Oh yeah, I think one more player I just want to watch out for is Alexander Doucette. He's coming in a little bit lower valued than some of these other top prospect names, but guy's been tearing it up in this training camp, and he did last training camp too, and really tore it up in Toledo last year. We got to see him a little bit in Grand Rapids, but he never really popped off like we'd want to see. But I think this year he's a little older, a little more mature, got a little more body to him. I think we're going to see some goals out of Alexander Doucette. Who is your comeback player of the year?
Cross Hannes. I think Cross Hannes is going to surprise some people too. I think he's going to dial a shot in. I think he's going to, he's either going to come back or he's not, or it's it for him, I think. I think this is kind of his last year to really prove what he's got if he wants to stick around to be part of this Red Wings team, because, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, he was like our scoring threat. He seemed to be like the only guy we had. Like, he came back and he scored, and we had hope, and then he got injured, and then we couldn't score. And then last year, we was kind of expecting a little more from him, and he kind of disappeared. So I'm hoping that he can step it back up to that level.
Yeah, he kind of almost got overwhelmed with the top prospects that came in. Just kind of got buried in the talent of the list, and I totally agree with you. I think Cross Hannes is going to find his shot. I think he needs to find a little more speed and a little more physicality in himself, but yeah, I think he is a top prime comeback player. Where do you think the Griffins will finish in the division? And then where do you think they will finish in the league? As far as rank.
So that's a big thing this year. So I feel like the Griffins have built more of a veteran roster, and we have a lot of young talent, first-round talent. Like, we have 3 first-round picks in Sebastian Costa, Marco Casper, and Nate Danielson. So you got more of the roster. You kind of like the roster structure that actually runs for a championship in the AHL. But that being said, our defense take a huge hit. Our 2 best defenders left. We lost Simon Evanson and we lost Albert Johansson. And the dudes I'm looking at right now, To really step up is like Brogan Rafferty. Brogan Rafferty is really going to have to step up. William Wallander and Tuamisto are the two prospects we got now. And I honestly don't think that they're at the level of Simon Evanson. And I think that the defense took a really big step down. And I'm hoping that it depends on our defense. If our defense plays good, I think we'll be in the top 15, top 10. I'd say 9. If our defense doesn't do good, I think we'll still make the playoffs. But I think we'll be more around like the 17 range. Our defense falls off and really badly. And Kosa doesn't, like, if we do the Detroit style, slam the goalie, Campbell just went into the player's assistant program. So that's a huge thing too now. Like now we're going to probably have Geilander or Bedard as a backup.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Our defense definitely took a huge hit, and even prospects like Shea Boom are injured and not going to be playing for probably a little while to start the season. So we're looking at William Vlinder and Antti Tuomisto to really step up, and I thought last year Tuomisto looked really good, and Vlinder was more of that offensive defensive threat, but seeing in this preseason, I'm kind of wondering, like, they both were making some pretty sloppy plays. There's a lot of, I'd like to see more out of them if they're our top prospects in GR going into this season. I think Vlinder has our highest chance to kind of be a prospect on the top line, but I think we're going to be seeing, like you said, a lot of Torridello, Brogan Rafferty, and Didier to kind of hold this fort down, and that's why we're kind of saying Vero development is key here as well. And I think we are going to kind of look at a player from the Red Wings falling down like Justin Hall or Lagesson possibly to really stabilize us.
Because Justin Hall may not be the knight in shining armor up there in Detroit, but I bet he plays pretty decent down here.
Right, so if he clears waivers, we'd be glad to have him down here. With the loss of Edmondson, we really need someone just to stabilize the defense.
Yeah, and Shai Boom being injured is a really big deal. Like that actually really puts a damper on our defense. And Axel Sandin Pellikka not coming over this year is another one, We're hoping that we can get Michael Branson Nygaard and Axel Sandin Pellikka to come over towards playoffs, once their seasons end.
Right.
That'd be cool.
And let's not forget the captain, Josiah Didier. He's more than capable of playing a steady defensive position. But I just know last year, a lot of the time when it was time for a man to sit out, it was Didier. But I predict the Griffins to finish second or third in the division, and that's some pretty high hopes, especially after looking at some of these other teams' rosters.
Yeah.
We are fairly stacked coming in, especially if we do keep players like Casper down here. I think, not having MBM and wondering if Les Bronze will even get signed again. So there's a lot of goal scoring questions, but I think third in the division is realistic. And then I'm putting us at right about 10th in the league.
Yeah, we got Sebastian Kosa. I gotta say, I think he's gonna be elite this year. But if he doesn't have a good year, it could actually go really bad, I think.
Right, and I think that's what the organization is kind of hoping, that Kosa can be the brick wall for Grand Rapids with this, not starless defense, but we're looking for some development here for sure. And we're hoping these defensemen grow and blossom into stars.
Yeah, definitely. Because William Wallander really stepped up after Mo Seider left Rogel. Like, they were saying that he was the next Mo Seider almost. And so far, I haven't seen it. But, now Simon Evanson left the GR, the spot's open for you, Wallander, man. See what you got, man. Yeah, hopefully we can get ASP down here, Axel Sandin Pellikka, at the end of the year for the playoffs. Have a power play quarter.
Yeah, that would be ideal. And who knows what happens with the roster in the next couple days to see what, we could get a random pickup and find ourselves looking pretty good, but we'll see what happens.
So we're pretty much getting to about an hour now. So we're gonna do a part 2 once the roster is fully released. We'll do a division preview. We'll do a preview for the Admiral game, the opening game. We'll do a quick preview, and yeah, it'll be a blast. No, that's horrible. You tell them.
So that should be the meat and potatoes for this episode. We will be coming back with a part 2 to really cover the roster once it's finalized and we know who will be playing for us. We'll get into a Milwaukee game preview, and we will cover the entire division and let you know what we're expecting out of the teams we're going to play this year. It could get a little fierce out there, but before we go, we got to get ourselves into the penalty box.
So for the penalty box, this is our one chance to step out of hockey and to end the episode on a fun note. We pick the biggest idiot of the week and throw them in the penalty box for a 2-minute minor, a 4-minute double minor, a 5-minute major, or a game misconduct. So, Kyle, who are you throwing in the box?
So, in the UFC, Paris, Aylin Perez, after taking down her opponent via submission, wins the fight and twerks on her opponent. It's like what we used to do in Halo when you kill someone, you go up and teabag them with the button. Like, we're twerking on your opponent after you beat them on live TV. I don't know if that's a good look.
So what's she going in the box for?
I'll give her a 5-minute major.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be throwing P. Diddy in the box here. I mean, where do I even start? From the hundreds of bottles of baby oil and lube in his bathroom to the secret passage underneath his bed with pretty much prison cells in there and stuff. Yeah. You're cooked, man, and everyone around you, your whole circle. Yep, that's a game misconduct. You're gonna be, hope you like that jail, man. Watch, he's gonna have he's gonna have this crazy power, and he's gonna get out of it completely, and then he's gonna kill me for talking crap on a podcast and throwing him in the penalty box. 5 minutes.
Yeah, I have no words for that guy. It's pretty next level, the kind of stuff that's been going around with him. Scary power.
Don't get yourself caught at a Diddy party. 5 minutes in the box. So yeah, that'll wrap us up. We'll get you that second part for the opener.
Go Griffins.
Go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like, and follow us on Facebook and X, or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.